Today on our Fighter Spotlight series, we have newly signed MMA T Company athlete Patrick Brady. Patrick, thanks for joining us today. How are you doing tonight?
What's up, John? How you doing, man? I'm all good, bud.
Good. Pleasure's all mine. I appreciate you coming on and taking the time to jump in with us. I know we were talking a little bit offline about just training and how we're able to get in and train when we can here and there. I wanted to start with how you got into martial arts in the first place. What got you into fighting in the cage?
Um, Actually, I started boxing. I was doing a lot of boxing after high school, in between high school and college football, and then when I got done college football in 2007, I picked up boxing again, and boxing kind of fell through a little bit, and I stopped, kind of competing or doing anything. I just kind of was hanging out and being a knucklehead and not caring about much. But then, I made a couple changes in my life, and I started training and get back in shape. And I actually did another boxing event. I want to say it was middle of 2018. And while I was there was actually another guy on the same card as me who had done MMA. And he had mentioned about how MMA fighters were tougher guys and it was a harder sport than boxing, this, that, and the other. So, of course, being the guy I am, I wanted to find out exactly what MMA was and what it was all about. And, previous to 2018, it was August 2018. I had never even been on a mat. I never wrestled in high school. I had no idea what like Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu was. I don't even know that I've ever heard the term Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu before 2018. And that's like kind of just dawning on me now. I've never even heard the term. I didn't watch like any of the UFC stuff like Chuck Liddell or any of those guys like Tito Ortiz. I wasn't into any of that. Some of those earlier UFC fighters that made the sport what it is today, but I didn't really care for it. And I kind of just picked it up that night. I called over to the promoter, Mike Bickings over at Art of War. I made a phone call to him I want to say it was that night. And I asked him to put me on a card. Never having had done MMA in my life, I'm talking to an MMA promoter on the phone going, yeah, put me on a card. And he says to me, do you have any jiu-jitsu experience? I'm like, nope. And he says, yeah, you got to get some jiu-jitsu experience. So I went over to Quintella, over there to Alex. I was living in Ridley at the time, and he was conveniently around the corner. And I signed up over there, and Mike Bickings put me on a card in October that same year. So it was August, September, October. 2 months later, I'm in a cage. That's just kind of how it all started, and I've been doing it ever since, and it's been nothing but fun for me.
So, a lot of people, they step into the gym, right? And they're like, man, this is going to take a lot of work. I'm going to need to be here a while. Like they see the other people around them, all those different things that go through their head. And then there's people like, like you they step in the gym. They're like, I can do this. I want to figure out where I'm at right now. So, you're only two months into training, right? And you take that first fight that's at Art of War. That was at Art of War 8, like you said, in October. You get in there and you lost your first fight, right? So what did you learn from that first fight? Only 2 months of training. What did you learn from that fight?
Too, John. I want that one back. I lost to Mark Covington. And what I learned from that fight is that it's important to know some of the earlier rules and regulations with MMA, especially amateur MMA. Specifically how long the rounds are, what positions you want to get in and what positions you got to get out of. Mark was a good wrestler. He took me down, and I think he realized what was going to happen if we stayed standing too long. I was able to get in a couple times and touch him. Nothing really crazy significant that would score any major points, but he was smart. He knew the game. He had a fight previous to that, and he took me down middle of each round and kept me down. Now at the time, I didn't know how to get up, like something as simple as getting up, getting to your points and climbing up the cage, and getting a whizzer in something. I didn't even know what a whizzer was. I don't know what an underhook is. I'd only been doing it 2 months. Some of those terms, like, they weren't, my coach is going, get up. I'm going, I can't, I was actually able to get up in the second round. He took me down. I got up, and it was a really good learning experience about what to do in a fight at that time, where to be, where you're at in the cage. And man, I want that fight back. We were actually in talks to run that fight back. And unfortunately, Mark was training with the Suitcase Kid. And then, that tragedy happened. And, Mark was kind of just like, hey, look, he's my coach. I'll fight you, but I want to be under him and working with him. And so we kind of just put that on a back burner for now. But Mark was up for it. He was game. And I would love to get that fight back, because I think I'm a totally different fighter now. I'm not taking anything from Mark. I'm not knocking him, other than I think I would knock him this time around. You know what I mean? And it would be a different fight.
Yeah, and speaking of knocking, right, you came off of that fight. You took really no time off, because then you turn around and you fight again in February of the next year. So only 4 months later, get a knockout win there. And then 7 months after that, get another win via punches, another second round finish. So you got 3 fights in less than a year, right? And that's that's about a year since you've been training, right? A year and a month since you stepped into the gym. And then it comes to the point where you fight Ian Alston at Art of War 17, which, if anybody hasn't seen the fight, probably one of the best heavyweight fights that you can watch at any level, regional, pro, any promotion. You watch that fight and you'll be standing, even if you're watching it on YouTube. So talk to me about that fight and how, how much you grew from the time that you fought Mark, and then what that fight really taught you about yourself, because you guys eventually fought to a draw.
Yeah, so I fought Mark and lost, and then I knocked out Mike Evans, and then I knocked out Mike Erb. During that course of time, I had been working, so I was at Quintella for Evans, and then I left Quintella and went over to Balance for Erb, and that's where I started rubbing elbows with guys like Petrowski and Pfeiffer and Jay Raddick and Anton Berzin and Basil Havez, like just guys that are just, it was a little different environment for me. I was seeing more things and learning different things. And I definitely want to say I grew exponentially from where I was to where I wanted to be. And it's funny, the way that it worked out with Ian I wanted another fight, obviously, and we were reaching out to some people, and we got a lot of people who said no, and I just said to Mike, I knew, and I had known Ian, I had trained with him once or twice, and I knew a lot of the same people he knew, Justin, and I knew he was a tough kid, and I knew he was going to say yes, So I told Mike, I said, Mike, just go to Ian and ask him if he'll take the fight. And I knew he'd say yes. And Mike's like, yeah, you sure? Like, I'm like, yeah, man, like, I need to find out where I'm at. I'm not taking anything away from Evans or Herb. But I didn't feel pushed or challenged or I didn't feel like I was put in an uncomfortable situation in those fights. And I knew Ian was gonna really push me to that limit. I think at one point it may have been on the table for me to fight him. Like, I want to say my first fight. Something happened or another, but I knew that this time we were gonna bang. And I'm glad I took that fight, and I'm glad it kind of went the way that it did, because it's gonna hype up for the rematch. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
That was a fun night, man, because Ian is such a good kid. He's a great competitor, and I couldn't imagine a better outcome. Obviously, me winning would have been a better outcome for me. But other than me winning, that's kind of how I would have liked that to go. And that I had a good game plan going into that fight. I know Ian's a really good striker. My game plan was to go in there and press him on the cage and use my strength. I'm stronger than most guys I stand across from. And I knew I was going to have to use my strength against him and kind of hold him on the cage and work him against the cage and kind of little dirty boxing, work the cage, break off, throw punches, re-engage. I would have liked to have a little better cardio, but as you can tell, if you watch the fight, I don't know that there's any cardio that you can really prepare yourself for the way that fight went.
Not at that pace, no.
It was what it was, and points wise, I lost a point in the third round because of the mouthpiece, and that's how it ended up being a draw. The judges scored that I won the first. Two of the judges scored that I won the second, and obviously all the judges have scored that I lost the third. Plus, after me losing the points, it's a draw. Bob Maloney actually during the broadcast actually had said, I think this fight's going to end up in a draw, before it ended up in a draw. And he was accurate. He usually knows his stuff pretty good. And yeah, man, it was a fun fight. It was a great night with great people, and it was just a great event.
For sure. And we talked previously before the interview about that there has to be a rematch at some point. But currently, you're working constantly, right? I always see that you're working somewhere. You're always working on your house, and then you got I think what, two kids, right? And then another one on the way.
Yeah.
So
I have two. I have two sons, 9-year-old Colin and a 6-year-old Liam, and then I have one on the way, due here in June. So yeah, man, I'm busy. I'm a busy man.
So where are you finding the time to train? Are you training mostly in the gym? Or are you getting stuff done, at home, solo sessions? I see you and Andre work out together.
Yeah. So there's a place not too far from here, Underground Wrestling Club. Is a great establishment, like a lot of real good high caliber wrestlers in and out of that place. And I'm in there with Andre. Mike Crowley runs a good program out of there. And I go over there, I try to get over there at least one night a week. And then in my house, I have a 10x10 wrestling mat. I got a full length Muay Thai bag. I got an uppercut bag. I have all the weights, everything I need right here in my garage. The old lady's not too happy that I took over the garage, but she got over it.
Necessary. It's necessary.
Yeah, it's necessary. So, yeah, I still find time to get it in. And then, of course, I just transferred over, as a result of the pandemic and everything going on. I moved over to Martinez, and I'm over there with Will and, those guys that are always grinding over there at Martinez. And you got a lot of good talent over there, man.
Yeah, I fought. So I fought for my pro debut. I fought Will Dill when he was out of Martinez's camp, and then for one of the amateur championships, I also fought Dwayne Shields. Right, so I know
No,
anybody coming out of Martinez, right? They're coming to fight, right? They're going to be in shape.
correct. Yeah, yeah,
They're
they're coming.
not going to back
We're
down,
coming.
right? Yeah, exactly, exactly.
We're coming. Yeah,
And then one of the, I personally think he's one of the best heavyweights in the world, right? Is now somebody that is a
yeah.
daily training partner of you. So what's it like working with Chris Dawkins over there?
Uh, yeah. I mean, Chris, as it stands now, I think he's ranked like 32nd in the world for heavyweight, and he's fighting Olenek, who's number 12 in the world. Um, I mean, look, it is what it is. Chris is just on another level right now, and I don't know that there anybody in that position right now that I'm aware of it from the area that's fighting a ranked fighter, or at least scheduled. Is there? I don't think there is. There's no one scheduled from this area to fight a ranked fighter, and I mean, we're not. It's not going to be a surprise if he beats the number 12 that they're going to rank him in the top 15. So to me, he would be the only top 15 world ranked fighters from the area. And that's not knocking anyone else by any means, but that just makes him the highest ranked fighter in the area. And being that what it is, I get to spar with him. That just makes me better. I mean, look, man, he busted me up. Like, look, I've been hit by everybody, and I've been hit by everybody. And when he touches me, it's a different feeling. When he gets those punches in, he's long and he works from the outside and he gets in and out real clean. And he's a black belt jiu-jitsu, you know what I mean? Like, so he's a really well-rounded fighter that, for me at my weight class, there's no one better than him in the area. I mean, it is like, and I'm like, again, people take shit the wrong way, but I'm not slighting anyone else, but he is the best heavyweight in the area, that hands down. That's it. And, it's a privilege and an honor to work with someone like that. I pick his brain, I ask him questions, and he's willing to work with me. And, being a part of that team now, and his brother Kyle's a killer too, man. He's long as shit, and he gets his hands on me, and I've been choked out by the best, and he gets his chokes out, chokes me out, So he's got a crazy fight coming up. He's got that Russian kid. Mm-hmm. I think he's like 13-0, 14-0, his next opponent in April, and he's going to be getting ready. I say is going to be getting ready, but these dudes are always ready. Like, the Dawkins brothers are always training, man. Mm-hmm. Like, it is what it is. They're training. Can't. Dudes are training. So, and they're banging. They're like at Martinez, we're banging. There's no, like, we're not Max Holloway over there acting like sparring's a problem. No, sparring's not a problem at Martinez. We're banging, and it's fun, man, because you got Matt Hill, you got Turnbull, you got different dudes over there that are and they're all willing to work with you. And if I'm missing anybody's name, and I apologize, but it's a good room to be in. And of course, you got Will, all the experience that he has, all his wars that he's been in. It's a good fit for me. I'm really excited for it.
And it's exciting also to see your progression, right? So you haven't fought in whenever that Alston fight was, coming up on maybe
it's coming up on a year. February.
Yeah.
It's a year this February, and it's man. I need to fight.
and not just for you, right? Because as a fighter, you want to get in there, you want to fight. The pandemic is what it is, but on the other side of things, like, us as fans and your friends, your family, people like that, right? They don't get to see you in the gym day in, day out. They don't get to see the improvements you're making. Yeah. So to them, they're going to see a whole new Patrick Brady, right? They're going to see a side of you that they haven't seen before. So that's also an exciting part of coming back to the stage.
Yeah. I mean, for sure. Like, I'm a firm believer in in a higher power in God. And I think everything happens for a reason. Everything's a part of his plan. And I think whatever we're going through as a country, as a nation, that's a part of the plan. Whatever the plan was, maybe I had to sit down for a year. Maybe I wasn't ready where I was to continue to fight the way that I was. Maybe I'm not built for those battles with Austin the way that I did it, and maybe I had to learn more before I get back in the cage with him. And that's just a part of the big guy's plan. So I know I am. So I know I'm a different fighter after a year. I think we're hoping to get another one in. I'm hoping to get another fight in before the rematch with Ian. I think he's on the same page. I think being as we can't sell full capacity tickets, and it's no secret that show, wherever it is going to sell out. Like that rematch, that place is going to be packed. And I don't want to short that event, that rematch. I don't want to. I want that to be what it deserves to be. So I think we're both want to get another one in, and we'll see where it takes us. Maybe it doesn't happen. I don't know. I would love for it to. I think he agrees. Well, maybe it doesn't. I don't know, man. I hope it does. But either way, I'm gonna keep grinding.
Awesome, man. We're looking forward to it. Whether you fight Ian or somebody else, I'm excited to see you back in the cage. I want to see what you're working on over there at Martinez. And just, I guess that's what it is. You keep grinding. Then if an opportunity comes up, you'll jump on it and you'll get in there.
Yeah, for sure. We're working on an opponent. We got a couple opponents that have said yes. And when it happens, it'll happen. But in the meantime, I get to network and talk to guys like you, and hopefully people come on the website, purchase a T-shirt or two, a hoodie, and I get my name out there a little more.
Awesome, man. Yeah, that's our goal. Is just to help you guys as fighters to do whatever you want to do. If you want to sell shirts, we'll help you sell shirts, do interviews, things like that. Just hit me up. We'll get it done.
Sweet, man.
Awesome, Patrick. I appreciate your time today. We'll be in touch soon. I'll get you that merch that we talked about, and then I'm looking forward to seeing you back in the cage here this year.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me, John.
Awesome. Appreciate it. Talk to you soon.
See you.
Yep. Bye.